gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Stocks are trading lower today. Not a big surprise considering the Trump-Russia meeting. We're not expecting to hear anything in regular trading. We're not going to know if this is good or bad. There's quite a bit of hedging taking place today because of the negative implications that could come if this is not such a great meeting. We're going to discuss all of the headlines here in this video. You need to know what the risk is for markets and actually, how, today could end up being a very big positive catalyst to start off Monday morning. We'll get into that and much more here in this video. We had a bunch of economic data, a ton of news to go over. First things first, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Secondly, check out that link down below in the description of this video if you are looking to find 10, 20, 30x opportunities. What we are doing over there in the trading community, link down below in the description of this video, is finding small cap stocks that are under the radar. We're looking at companies that have strong balance sheets, massive insider ownership, meaning the people that run the company are financially aligned with shareholders, okay? I think that's a big green flag. Companies that are growing at faster rates of speed than other well-known AI names that are trading at a fraction of the valuation. Why? Well, there's different reasons for different stocks, but generally speaking, it's because some of these stocks that we are investing in are just undiscovered. They don't have that additional premium because not as many people know about them. That is what I view as a massive opportunity you do not want to miss out on. AI is going to be a theme that is going to change the world more than anyone realizes, much the same way as the internet was. Back in the early 2000s, nobody would have expected 25 years later in 2025 that the internet is as big as it is today. It surpassed everyone's expectations. AI is going to do the same thing, and we are looking for the opportunities in AI, specifically in small caps, that can potentially make you life-changing amounts of money. That's the idea, and that is what I have been executing for a very long time, now with a service brought to you guys. Check it out, link down below in the description of this video. But with that said, let's go ahead and get started. First and foremost, at the time of recording this video, stocks are trading lower today. Tesla is down about 1.5%. The Russell down about 1/3%. The S&P is down about 0.1%. Okay, they're trading lower, I think, because of the uncertainty of what's going to happen with this Russia-Trump meeting. We still don't have the details of, is it going to be good or is it going to be bad? It's about 2 p.m. right now, and they just landed in Alaska. Okay, so we were told earlier today that this meeting could go 6 or 7 hours if it is positive. So we're not going to likely hear anything until later tonight. And, that's making Wall Street a little nervous because today is Friday. And by the time we hear anything, stocks are going to be closed. So when there is uncertainty, when there is a little bit of nervousness, what do? Well, you likely go out and hedge your portfolio to some degree. As I've talked about before on this channel, the risk in today's meeting with Trump and Putin is they don't get along. They're not seeing eye to eye. Trump thinks Putin doesn't want to really end the conflict. Okay, that would be the worst case scenario here. I guess the worst case scenario could be much worse than that, but that's the market's logical worst case scenario. In that event, that opens the door for a lot more geopolitical risks and tariff risks, okay? Trump's going to likely tariff China and other countries that purchase Russian oil if the meeting does not go well. Here's the good news. It's likely going to go very well. We'll get into some of those comments here in just a moment, but let's be honest. Why would Putin come to Alaska and have an in-person meeting with Trump if he was not serious about ending the conflict? That, to me, does not make a whole lot of sense. I just wanted to start today's video with explaining, in my view, why stocks are coming under a little bit of pressure today. We'll also get into the economic data in just a moment that also should be discussed. Now, here's a headline here. It says, White House pool report. The previously planned one-on-one meeting between Trump and Putin is now a three-on-three meeting. Trump will be joined by Secretary of State Rubio and Special Envoy Witkoff. Canadian Prime Minister Carney is planning to visit Mexico on September 18th. The Russian ambassador to the U.S., Alexander Darshev, expects a positive outcome but no breakthrough from the Trump-Putin summit, Russian state media reported. Trump said today that the Putin meeting will, quote, work out very well. Trump says if the meeting with Putin doesn't go well, I'll head home. I would head back home real fast. Trump says stock markets are at a record high. It was reported at 1:53 p.m. today that Vladimir Putin's plane has landed in the U.S. Yushakov said that we need to wait for the results of the meeting between Putin and Trump to understand whether there will be a next summit. Also in the news today, U.S. military will be deploying over 4,000 additional troops to waters around Latin America as part of Trump's counter-cartel mission. Trump says, I want to see a ceasefire rapidly. I don't know if it's going to be today, but I'm not going to be happy if it's not today. Fed Goolsbee says, let's not overreact to 1 month of PPI, CPI import prices, but it is an area of concern. The U.S. is sending out over 4,000 Marine sailors against drug cartels. Here's another reiteration of this, according to CNN. And Trump on Putin meeting says Europe's not telling me what to do. Trump on the Putin meeting says nothing is set in stone. So again, you could see why stocks are a little nervous, okay, heading into this meeting. Here you could see that the Kremlin says that Putin-Trump talks could last for a minimum of 6 to 7 hours. 6 to 7 hour minimum? That's wild. That would be like 9 p.m. tonight before we may hear anything at all. Trump on the Putin meeting says, I don't know what would make the summit a success. And again, Wall Street is focused on this. It's moving markets. People are hedging, not because of the war in Ukraine, but because, again, if the meeting goes bad, then you have the risk of additional tariffs on countries like China, which would be the real negative, catalyst from this meeting if it is bad. But it's hard to see a negative outcome here. The Trump administration has lawful authority to assert control over police in Washington, according to a White House spokeswoman. And Zelensky says there are no signals from Russia to stop the war. Russian envoy Dmitriev, which is going to be at this meeting, says the mood ahead of Putin-Trump talks is combative. Russian envoy Dmitriev says talks are aimed at restoring Russia-U.S. relations, not just the economy. The Kremlin says that Russia expects that Alaska talks will bring results. And according to Bloomberg and their chart here, citing the ISM Services PMI, says the jaws of stagflation are wide open with prices paid going up and employment falling. Now, it's important to remember that the ISM is the services sector, but the PMI is the Purchasing Managers Index. So it's basically like a group of executives at service companies giving their estimates for what is to come. They're expecting higher prices and a worsening employment market. But that's far from like actual hard data. Putin lays flowers at memorial commemorating U.S.-Soviet World War II cooperation in Russia's Magadan. That was today. You can see today pretty much all of the headlines, literally almost all of the headlines today hitting the newswire are about this Russia, Putin-Trump meeting. Like that is what is dominating the headlines today. So don't take it from me when I say it's going to be a big catalyst for markets. It's literally all anyone is talking about today. Now, the economic data today, at least for retail sales, came in better than expected. Okay, last month's number for retail sales month over month was 0.5%. It was revised up to 0.9%, so that's great. And the expectation was 0.5% today. That is where we came in. So came in line with expectations with a stronger month last month. Now, when you're looking at month over month numbers and you were revised up again, I think I said from 0.5%, from 0.6% up to 0.9%, and then you get a 0.5% number for a month over month reading, that's actually better than the expectation. Okay, so we actually beat expectations today. Okay, now export prices month over month came in at 0.1% in line with expectations, and import prices month over month came in at 0.4%, higher than the 0% expectation. New York Empire State Manufacturing Index came in at 11.90. The consensus was 0, so that was much better than expected. But when you skip down here to the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Survey, you came in at 58.6. The expectation was 62. Okay, so you came in lower than expected. 5-year inflation expectations went up to 3.9%. The previous month was 3.4%. The expectation was 3.6%, so that was higher than expected. Consumer expectations came in at 57.2 versus 56.5. Last month was 57.7. So you beat expectations today, but missed relative to last month's number. Current conditions came in at 60.9. The expectation was 67.9. So that really missed expectations. And 1 year ahead inflation expectations came in at 4.9%, coming in higher than the expected 4.8%. But again, this Michigan Consumer Sentiment Survey is literally one of the most political data sets you're ever going to see. It's almost all Democrats skewing these numbers. Okay, when you look at like average estimates, there hasn't been much of a rise in inflation expectations. Democrats think the economy is going to get a lot worse. Republicans think the economy is going to get a lot better. Democrats expect a lot more inflation. Republicans expect no inflation. Like, it's a very political survey, and it's only like a couple hundred people that make this up. So it's not a large data set at all. And honestly, I don't think it really affected markets much today. Now, the AI Investor Sentiment Survey today came in very interesting, okay? Bullish investors are at 29.9%, the lowest we've seen in well over a month now. Neutral investors went up from last week. Last week, you were at 21.9% and went up to 24.0%. And bearish investors went up again, hitting the highest levels again we've had in over 2 months, going from 43.2% last month to 46.2%. So this is actually a good thing, okay? To have stocks as high as they are right now, and to have so many bears, it's a sign that there's a lot of people bearish. And when there's a lot of people bearish, that means there's a lot more people to get bullish, essentially. That maybe there's a lot of this market that is way too bearish. Okay? It's one of those contrarian indicators. Whereas if there was a lot of bulls, it would be a little bit of a red flag to say, okay, maybe we're getting too bullish. Maybe like we should calm down a little bit. When you get the bears that are rising like this, as stocks have also been rising, it's really a green flag, okay? It is really a good sign that markets are not overstretched, okay? And nowhere, again, even close to a bubble, okay? That was some of the arguments that we've started to see on CNBC, that this market is like heading into a bubble. No, it's not even close, okay? If like 10 is a major bubble that's about to pop, and 1 is like neutral market, like there's nothing happening, it's just la-di-da-di-da all day every day, we're at like a 2.5. Like, we're not at la-di-da-di-da. Like, there's obviously some parts of excitement in this market, but nowhere close to a bubble by any metric, okay? CNN Fear and Greed Index today is coming in at 65. What's interesting here is yesterday you were at 63. So it's actually going up, even though the indexes are in the red today. Market momentum is greed. Stock price strength is greed. Stock price breadth is neutral. Put and call options, extreme greed. Market volatility is neutral. Safe haven demand is greed. And junk bond demand is also in greed today. If we look at the percent of stocks trading above their 50-day moving average, this is another big green flag in my view. You've went from, 79% of stocks above their 50-day moving average at the high down to 57.3%. So you've seen a bit of a reset internally in markets as well. And still, stocks have done pretty good. Like, you're still sitting near all-time highs on the S&P, but you've got this internal reset. So I actually think the setup looks really good. I think we're going to get good news out of the Trump-Putin summit or meeting, if you will. And that's going to be one of the big catalysts we are going to react to coming on Monday that I think will send stocks higher. Because, again, it takes off that tariff risk on China, which, lowers the odds of economic disaster. That lowers the odds of having a more persistent inflation issue from Wall Street's perspective. Getting some kind of deal done with Putin, even if Zelensky does not agree with it, is all the markets care about right now. Literally, that is like 90% of the news wire today is comments on this summit. Let me know your thoughts on all of this down below in the comment section. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Check out that link down below in the description of this video for the trading community, the best community in the entire world by far, not even a comparison. Because what we are doing is so much different than what everyone else does. Okay, sure, we make short-term trades. We make very calculated, quote-unquote, gambles, if you will. But what we're really doing and what I've specialized in my, investing journey long before this was actually a program brought to everyone is exactly this. Whatever the main theme is, whether, it was cannabis in 2017, 2018, whether it was, EVs or green energy or small caps in general, biopharmas had a wave there in 2019 and early 2020. No matter what it is, I'm going out and I'm finding the underappreciated stocks in that specific theme. These days, AI is just such a large theme. We have more and more opportunities to do so. And that's what's so exciting about the program that we are offering. So, ladies and gentlemen, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.